Good morning. Very first thing, let's just start vibrating. Think about your vibration. We've been talking over the last several sessions to go back to basics and to find ourselves in a deeper relationship with our meditation and mindfulness. Let's just start being aware of ourselves, being aware of our bodies. Yes, comfortable posture, undisturbed, being aware of the warmth of one's being aware of one breathing, of one's pulsing heart being squeezed by its musculature, being aware of one's own vibration, of life emanating from your cells. Your cells are oscillating and jiggling and doing all these different things, right? They're alive. We're alive. Being aware of this, finding a sense of amazement at one's own being and our aspiration to accomplish and know more, finding a sense of reverence for what we don't understand. Add them together, finding awe in one's own being and in everything. When we look around, what should we be looking for? We don't need to look for anything in particular, but to widen our perspective of what we see and hear and feel. Finding in our perspective a sense of time and space. When we see a tree, finding it in our mind's eye as a seed, watching it begin to sprout and grow. Watching it as the rains fall from the sky, watching the leaves as the raindrops fall on them, as they shudder and sway with the weight of the raindrops, as the roots are nourished by the earth and the water that's arrived, watching it further as it grows wider and taller until it becomes a large tree, and wondering, what is this splendor that we find upon our planet Earth? This represents a perspective broader than what is presented in the here and now. It's a perspective that includes both the lessons of the past and the possibilities of the future. If we take this from the thoughts about a tree and take it to a human, in our mind's eye, watch as this person is born, is a young child, is a middle schooler, a high schooler, goes to college or to trade school or goes to work. As this human ages, begins a family, makes a living, begins to think of retiring, retires, grows older, passes away. What are we encompassing is a whole cycle of life. It can mean for us a sense of melancholy. This is, on a physical basis, what life represents. And yet, it is just this understanding that allows us to grow into a better sense of the continuity of the incredible miracle that we are witnessing in creation's evolution. This is a moment in time. A lifetime is a moment, nothing more. When you consider that life formed on this world 3.5 billion years ago, the beginnings up till now, and that the universe as a whole follows the exploding entrance into this universe, into creation, 14.5 billion years ago, 100 years, let's say, for a lifetime, doesn't represent very much. It is the perspective we want to share. There is nothing wrong with having a sense of melancholy about the process of life. It is in refining one's understanding, one's perspective, that we wish to share when we do this. Having a sense of greater awareness, of coming into contact with the past as well as the present and the possibilities of the future. We have a different analysis in our minds of what we're seeing or hearing or feeling. This is the chance to be meditative and to be mindful of what we are, of what we're thinking, of whom we are, of what this is all about. To ask questions of oneself is the means of eliciting an answer, of searching, of having a goal, of an aspiration, of being curious. We can determine what our emotional content is in these endeavors. We can be saddened, or we can be glad that we're a part of this in the very first place and have this capability to even have this conversation, to have this greater sense of perspective. There are an infinite range of responses. We may not think that we do, but we always have a choice in how we want to view something or anything. What I'm suggesting is that in everything we do, we make the effort, we pay attention, we invest our energy in allowing ourselves and accepting as wide a perspective as we possibly can. Finding ourselves on a boat in the middle of the ocean, and we look in one direction, and as far as the horizon, we see the sea. And we turn slowly, and in all directions we see the same horizon, nothing more than an endless flat sea. We blink. Our eyes are closed for a moment, and we open them up again. And in one direction, we see a certain brightness, and we begin to be curious and wonder, what is it that we are seeing? It is the light of our own self-awareness, of our eyes, of our optic nerves, of our brains. What are we seeing? It depends upon our perspective. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's the dawning of a new idea. What do we want it to be? What are our goals? What are our aspirations? One needs to determine these things. One needs to make a conscious effort. There's a saying that energy follows attention. You pay attention to something, you are investing your energy into whatever it is that you are paying attention to. We can say this about life. How much attention do you pay? Or do we just go through the motions, not making any considerations, not being aware? When one gazes to the horizon upon the endless sea of life, the endless sea of creation, better to have some idea of what we are looking for. At least what we want passes us by because we don't recognize whom we are. We are bundles of miracles. We have a fuller life that is more vital and in which we are more alive. When we take our perspective and enhance and broaden it, be curious about as much as we can. Humility, realizing the immensity of creation, our own limitations in being able to evaluate what we are a part of, and yet, and as importantly, being full of appreciation for us having a chance to try, make an effort. Each of us is responsible for making ourselves pay greater attention, invest more energy into being more alive, aware, awake, alert, receptive, feeling one's warmth, one's radiant being alive, one's chest rising and subsiding as we breathe, feeling inside as our body pulses, feeling more deeply as our body's cells, 37 trillion strong, glowing shimmer in the ecstasy, in the continuation of our lives, realizing the majesty, the awe of whom and what we are, bundles of miracles, humbled by the immensity of this creation that we are part of, and thankful that we have a part. I see no good people now. Oh, oh. If some of these things make you feel sad or have a sense of melancholy, This is another tool, utilizing this to help propel yourself to do more. Yes. Namaste.